Well, hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. I'm Ryan Coleman, your host, as always, with Real Estate with Ryan. I'm here with my lovely co-host, April Coleman. Hey,
That's
what are you doing, April? Good to
I'm
see
here.
you. We're glad to have you today.
Thanks. Barely here, but I'm here.
Barely here. It's been that kind of week?
It's been that kind of 3 months.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember last time we tuned in. Last show we were talking about we have a new Coleman coming to the family. I did. You were here.
Oh, you didn't include me in that conversation.
I told the world. So everybody knows now. So we're expecting our second child in February. So we're super excited about that. But as you guys know, and if you guys have ever dealt with a pregnant wife at home, it's been tough around the Coleman house last 3 months.
Yeah.
And so...
Poor Ryan.
Yeah, it's been tough, but hey, no pain, no gain. So
Kinsley takes care of me.
Yeah,
so
my daughter's always being sweet to me, so That's good. So glad to have you today.
Thank you.
Glad to be with you guys. Hope you're having an awesome Saturday. Thank you always for tuning in to Real Estate with Ryan. We've got a good show for you. Before we kind of start the show, well, April, tell them what we're going to talk about first, because I think it's important. We deal with this all the time, whether we're on the other side of working with buyers, whether we're working with sellers. And it can be a frustrating process. You know, you find your forever home, you find your dream home, boom, we go under contract.
It's exciting.
And then what's next?
And then your home inspection.
The dreaded home inspection, right?
Right.
And we always tell everybody on the radio, you guys think we're playing when we tell you this. We have to usually sell the property 2 or 3 times throughout the whole process and try to keep the deal together and keep buyers and sellers happy and keep agents from getting their egos involved in the transactions and then getting the lenders involved in the transaction, kind of keeping them in their place. And so it's just always a big battle or some tugging and pulling going on in the transaction, wouldn't you think?
Not always, but sometimes.
Sometimes. And then our dreaded home inspection.
Yes.
I know we did a show before, and we said there was a guy, he actually got an inspection tomorrow. And I said, is that the deal killer guy? Remember that guy? I was like, she picked that guy. Is that the deal killer?
No.
So there's a guy out here called the deal killer.
The deal killer.
Yeah. So he prides himself on basically making things.
Well, that's really exciting.
See, you guys didn't know, but basically, there's a guy in town that talks about the deal killer, and his goal in life is to kind of mess up the purchase.
I know, isn't that just really exciting?
Yeah.
Grateful to be.
We don't want him to steal our thunder or our clients' thunder. So
yes, we want it to be smooth and go as planned. So our topic is going to be...
It is. You tell us the topic.
How to negotiate repairs after your home inspection, and then who pays for it?
Who's going to pay for it all?
That's right.
Yeah, so we're talking about that, and it's a good topic, good show. Before we get into our show, we're going to talk about some congrats. There's always great times around here for our company and some great people that we helped this week.
You got it. So I have some congrats, and then some of our clients that have just gone under contract. So first, I'll tell you about Ridge Park. It closed. Yay for them. And then we had Peterson Road closed. We're really excited for him. Park Lane, it is closed. And then we have Shady Lane. We're really excited for him, Mr. Diggs. And then Old Newport Highway in Sevierville closed. And then our new ones that we want to say congratulations to are Trails End in Sharps Chapel. South 5th Street out in La Follette, they have a contract. Paint Rock in Kingston, she actually got a contract on her home, and now she's found a place to live. So we're really excited for her because she's downsizing.
That was, before we go on, it was super excited. We did Miss Bryan's house. If you guys have watched our social media stuff, Miss Bryan was in our vlog that we put out here recently. Okay. And when Daniel and I and Holly, we all shot that, we literally sold that in 2 days. And last week we've been working together to kind of find her a condo, April and I, and all of us pulling together. And we were so excited that we found her one.
Yes, finally, because we were getting a little nervous there for a minute.
But I think when we were just talking about it, we said we hope the deal killer's not doing the inspection tomorrow. We'll see. Cross our fingers.
We'll see. Better not kill the deal because she needs somewhere to live, and she loves that because she loves it too.
Isn't that true?
I know. Okay, so Swan Pond put that on the market, and now we have contract. And Rock House out in Pioneer has contract. Roaring Fork out in Gatlinburg.
Congrats to him.
Yes.
Great gentleman. Builder, developer.
He is.
86 years old. Did you know that?
I did not.
I met him yesterday on the weekend. Just a super gentleman.
He is.
And 86 years old, going strong, developed that area. I've been a builder for years. He was super excited to get that sold. So,
yes.
So happy with him. So excited.
And then McCaman Road. Finally,
we've got that on the market, got a contract, but it's still contingent upon a house selling, but still available if you guys want it.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know how that goes. So great opportunity for them. Congrats to them.
And hopefully we'll have more congrats with these contracts that are lingering out there. So
we've been busy. What have you guys thought about the real estate market? Before we kind of jump into the show, we were chatting, April and I, earlier today, and we just showed a couple luxury properties. Another one of our sellers, we're like, it comes in spurts.
It does.
And so we just had a property over in Fox Den, just boom, another showing, just another showing. And so that's kind of where the market is, understanding that this week or the last couple of weeks when kids go back to school, kids are going back to college, teachers are getting back in the groove.
Right.
Professors are going back to school.
Busy.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not uncommon during that period of time for a little bit of a slowdown.
Yes.
And
definitely.
So regardless of what the market's like, we always see it a little bit paused during then. But you were just saying something about September, April. Tell us what you were telling about September. Or usually what we see as we run basically towards the end of the year and the holidays.
Definitely. We always try to keep up with trends about what's going on and compare our years to each other. And so we always notice that August is one of those slowdown months because of school. But then we see once September starts to hit, everybody's kind of calmed back down and settled down. And then boom, here comes the showings and here comes the contracts. And then everybody wants to close in October, November, December before Christmas. And then so we always feel like, oh, it's going to be slow. Here comes fall and winter. It's going to be dead. And then we are the busiest and we're running around like mad men and women. It's just absolutely crazy, but we love it. And then, first of the year comes, have a couple of slow months and then start it all up again. So.
Well, usually we always think in the holidays or the fall season before getting the show that we're slower, and it's really where that opportunity to shine. Every year we have some goals and things that we're looking for our clients is that the spring and summer markets obviously are the busiest time of the year, but fall and winter and our relocation, our corporate clients trying to get in by the year is a great opportunity where a lot of sales a lot of those homes that didn't sell in the spring and summer, those guys pull them off the market. So already when there's an inventory market that's a little bit down, gives you an opportunity to have your home shine and actually sell.
That's true. And remember that for sellers. Don't back down and don't think that it's not a good time to sell because it is a good time to sell.
It really is with rates and where we're at. So let's talk about the inspections, what you need to do to get an inspection passed, who pays for it, and all that kind of process. So you find your forever home. We go under contract. Everybody's super excited. Now we got to inspect it. We want to make sure everything's up to snuff. We want to check the roof, the heating, cooling, plumbing. How does that all work? Who does what? That's a good question. April, if it's your first home or you bought multiple homes, where would you start on the process? What's the next step?
The next step with home inspection?
Yeah. Why is it important really to even have an inspection?
Oh, it's very important to have a home inspection. Some people will say, well, I'll just take it as is. Maybe they just think that the bones are good and they want it. Some people do that and that's completely fine. But I think that you should, even if you want to take it as is, have a home inspection so that you'll know what you have to look forward to. And there's just things that the home inspector sees that you can't see. They check every inch of the house inside and out and crawl up and down and go into places I would never go. And so I think that's why it's very important because there's things that there may be an outlet that doesn't work and you just don't know, or some leak somewhere behind something that you're just not aware of. So
who usually pays for the inspection for maybe guys that don't buy and sell real estate all the time? Is that something we get the sellers to pay, or is that usually a buyer cost?
It's a buyer cost.
And range on price ranges. How much does an inspection usually cost?
It is. This is quiz time, isn't it, Mr. Coleman?
It is. Look, we're here to give information.
Quizzing. So it's quizzing me.
Yeah.
I'm not good at on-the-spot quizzes. He doesn't know that. I didn't do that well in school.
You do.
So it just depends on the square footage of the house, but normally anywhere from 400, 500, 600,
it can even go up to $1,000.
Oh yeah, just if you have it, if you're trying to purchase a huge home with a lot of square footage,
right?
And just depending on what you want to add on with radon and all these other different things, mold and all this stuff. So
there's so many parts of the inspection that you need to check. Obviously, if you're spending $400,000 or $500,000, $1 million plus, obviously you want to spend the couple thousand inspection to make sure that you're secure in your investment.
Exactly.
We're coming on break, guys. You listen to Real Estate with Ryan. We're talking about inspection. Who pays for it? What's the next step after you find your forever home? How's that going to go? Does the sale go through? Or does it fall together on the home inspection? We'll talk about more of that. Real Estate with Ryan right after that. She's singing today with Real Estate with Ryan. Stay with us on the break. We'll be right back. Thank you, guys.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to Real Estate with Ryan. As April was, I think she was doing the Jaws.
Yeah,
the
I was
Jaws
trying to.
detail.
It didn't work out very well.
She was like, it was Jaws. It's like, dun-dun-dun-dun. It's like, okay. What was that, April?
I know he didn't.
I didn't get it. I
didn't get it.
I said,
Leaving you in suspicion.
Anyway, so we were chatting about that, and we're talking about inspections. So before we get into that, I want to talk about why you need to have a contract on the property and how that works in each state. So every state is a little bit different. So in our state, we could do an inspection, and pretty much for any reason, if we don't like the results of the inspection, if they're not to our satisfaction, you can walk. A lot of other states, let's say I'm licensed in another state, or people that work in other states, if for some reason that they're cosmetic, the seller doesn't have to fix them.
Okay.
But if they're defects, then they have to. Here in Tennessee, it's really a buyer-friendly state. Anything that they're not happy for, they can walk. Now, why you guys, it's important as a seller, we talk about who pays for the repairs after the inspection. And usually that's a seller cost, or it could be negotiated between the parties. Most things that come up with a lot of times we see in our inspections would be either the seller hires a contractor to fix the items. You can work out a repair credit. Sometimes we pay vendors at closing. Let's say if we find radon or something like that, and we just did one yesterday, and the company's going to come out after closing, and they're paying the vendor right at settlement. So lots of different ways. Or don't forget, you homeowners that are very, very handy and can fix these items yourself, can do that as well.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is to understand, just because you buy a property as is doesn't mean that you have to accept it as is. Keep in mind, sellers, a lot of times we get that, hey, I'm selling it as is. I always encourage my sellers that you don't want to say that you're selling it as is, because sometimes it makes it sound like there may be something wrong with it.
Right. That's true.
Or we see a lot of our bank properties, or trust sales, or foreclosures, or maybe divorce properties. They try to go as is.
Because they don't want to spend that extra money.
Right. But sometimes the buyer beware, understand that sometimes that's not the best representation to the buyer. So keep that in mind. What do you think else is important, April, when we talk about the inspection and the timing? In our state, usually most contracts from start to finish, how much time do buyers usually have to get their inspections done?
And then ask for what they want to ask for?
Or just even to do the inspection. In some states, you have pretty much up to closing.
Oh, wow.
And then some states require within the first 7 days.
Okay. Yeah. For us, we can just put in the contract any amount of time but usually 7 to 14, 15 days to have the inspection done, all of your inspections, and to submit a proposal.
And in this state, we go through in Tennessee, most likely we have something called a resolution period. So you have maybe a week or 2 weeks, whatever you can negotiate between the parties to do your inspection. And then you've got 5 days or 10 days or whatever days, 3 days. And that resolution period is there to help you kind of work out the details and who's going to do what and if you can come to an agreement.
Right.
Now, it's important in our area that if you don't have them resolved in those 5 days and the parties don't agree to extend, most people don't realize that the contracts actually terminate on the spot. A lot of our contracts that are written by the state are something called time is of the essence. I won't get into that, but it's important regarding this home inspection because if you don't have the inspection worked out, that contract technically is void.
Right.
And when it goes void, the buyers get their money back, and then we're starting the whole process over.
Exactly. Or they can ask for an extension. Everybody can agree an extension and sign an addendum. Yeah.
I mean, so people were able to extend that out. But it's important that during that period that you're on top of that and hopefully work those inspections out.
Exactly.
We talk about those repairs. What are some of the items that the home inspectors are going to be looking for in the inspection? What are the most important parts you think that we see all the time, I would say?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, I think that you need to know the difference between important and cosmetic or not so important items. So the inspector is going to be looking at, of course, plumbing issues. Are there any leaks? Are there any major plumbing issues? Do they have incorrect, faucet parts that are not connected
or leaks
right, like if you have the wrong parts, if it's an older house or if they're not connected correctly or whatever. So they look at all the plumbing issues. They look for the dreaded fungus, mold and mildew, which is typically in crawl spaces, or if there was a wet area, then they look for that and make sure there's none of that. If there's any improper grading on the outside, then especially if you have a basement or a crawl space, then they can look to see if there is any structural issues there or if there's any wetness. They'll use like a moisture reader and see if there's any wetness down there. And then if so, they'll say there's probably improper grading and you need to get that checked out.
Water seems to be a big component of our inspections. You know, just the simple things we see in our inspections that are gutters and downspouts and grading issues that are really minor end up costing thousands of dollars later if it's left untreated. So we see that all the time.
Yes, because one thing, a little gutter issue can lead to a lot of runoff, which can enter into your foundation, which can go into your foundation and cause all these leaking issues, which causes mold, or fungus. And so you have to look out for that. Faulty electrical wiring, they look at all the electrical and make sure that it's all in good condition and working properly, and your breaker panel boxes and all that good stuff. Are there any roofing issues, any leaks, any missing shingles? We talked about foundation issues, and they check out all your appliances to make sure your appliances are in good working order, even the hood vents and stuff like that. The heating and cooling to make sure that's working properly, and your windows or door issues. So I think that if you have any broken seals or broken windows or it's just not opening or closing properly, I think those are all of the main items. Can you think of anything else?
Just, structural integrity. We do the termite. They do radon. They're doing all kinds of components with your HVAC. Really, they go top to bottom. They really do a good job. Now, every inspector that you may get could be different, right? Some are licensed, some are not. The key is that the buyers are going to pick out the inspector. And they've got the right to do that. They're paying the money. And just keep in mind, sometimes my sellers get a little frustrated with the process of the inspector, and they go through and they have choice words for the inspector sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. But remember, it's their job to kind of find these items. I think the biggest component, what we try to talk about and how we get these deals to closing, is that your agent needs to understand our job is to counsel the buyer and the seller at the same time. So understand that the buyers, what is cosmetic and what is structural integrity or what is defects.
Right.
And I think one of the biggest things that we see on deals that cause deals to maybe blow up or have a lot more problems, or when the agents take the home inspection list and they just copy the whole page and send it over to us, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing that makes the seller more aggravated to see they want you to rebuild the whole house.
Right.
And so, but agents do that. They think they're negotiating that. And at the same time, what they don't realize, I just got off the phone with one of my sellers, and an offer that came in lower, it was so low that it kind of insulted the seller.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guys have a hard time coming back to that place where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, our business is always about people, right? It's bringing buyers and sellers together. We got to bring them together. And sometimes, as much as, let's say, the agent on the other side is trying to work for their buyer, they actually may be hurting the buyer and could be causing the sale to lose. So I'd say focus on what is most important on the list, number one, and negotiate the items. Depending on the time frame that you have during the inspection, see what's reasonable for the seller to fix, or maybe you need to get a separate quote and handle that after closing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What else would you think is important?
Well, I would, what my thought is, my advice would be is if there's nothing majorly wrong with the home, but there are, this outlet isn't working, this toilet needs to be secured, this faucet needs to be, switched out or whatever, then ask for those little items. But if it's something major like foundation work needs to be done, it needs a new roof, all of these major items that can be very costly to the seller, then don't ask for those little bitty items. You can get somebody to secure a toilet. I mean, you could probably do it yourself. So that would be my recommendation, not ask for the whole list of 20 items with the major
and
items.
Buyers, keep in mind that there's the reason we got the inspections. All these things can be fixed. So don't panic. Keep in mind that these can be fixed. A lot of times the homeowners don't know about these items, and they're going to have to fix them now or later. So if we can all come together, you can still get your forever home. We can get through the inspection and get you and your family moving in, and be one down in the books.
You got it.
Yep.
So don't let inspections scare you.
It won't happen. So we're running short on time. We thank you every week to listen to Real Estate with Ryan. Don't forget to vote us Best of Knoxville. We're out on social media. Go to knoxnews.com or our website. Every week we're here. The best number is 693-SOLD. Or you could visit us on ryancoleman.org. As always, you guys have a wonderful weekend.
You got it. And see you next time.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Take care.